guys, my name's Kayla, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Today's video is going to be how we survive the ultimate apparent snowstorm that the Midwest is about to get. We are told that we're going to get anywhere from like a few inches to like a few feet of snow, and then also a few inches of ice. So we are hunkering down this weekend and just going to try to stay warm. So we're going to do a little bit of a reading vlog mixed with a nesting vlog. So I think I said in 2 videos ago that I'm expecting baby number 2, and he will be making his arrival in less than 2 months. We have a lot of work to do because literally nothing's done besides the paint and this crib. So we have a lot to do. I have a lot of stuff to sort, a lot of baby clothes to go through and figure out what I want to keep and what I want to donate. And then we're also going to do a reading vlog. So I am going to read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. We're going to start out with the audiobook, and then I'm hoping as the day progresses and I'm done doing what I need to do, I can also physically read as well. So let's go ahead and get this started because we have a lot of work to do, and yeah, let's go. Okay, so we have all of this stuff to sort. That is a giant bag of clothes from a coworker, and it just keeps going over here. Obviously, the pink stuff's going to be green. That's just pink from when we had Chloe. So we have a lot of stuff to sort, but I do have a cute helper. Hi, Kiwi. Hi. So I already know a question that I'm going to get is this going to ever become a family vlog channel? And I can tell you absolutely not. I think I might have shared like mini clips of my daughter Chloe, or you might have like heard her babbling in the background, but we really try to keep her off the internet, and we're going to do the same with our second kid as well, solely because there are, weird people out there and they're not choosing to be on the internet, and we just don't want to have a family vlog channel. That's not ever something I've wanted to do. So no, this will not be a family vlog channel. This is just something I have to do this weekend, so I'm going to throw in some clips of what I'm doing just because it's what I'm doing with my life right now. So yeah, don't worry, this will not become a family vlog channel. This is going to always be book and lifestyle related. So you might see little glimpses, but yeah, that's about it. Okay, so now that we kind of got the initial stuff out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and lock into my audiobook. So these are the headphones I use. These are Beats Studio Pro, I think. I got them for Christmas last year, and I truly love them. So we are going to listen to Atmosphere. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm about 30 pages in. I did start reading it last night, and it's a really good book so far. This is only the second book I've ever read by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did read One True Loves, and I really enjoyed that book. And I think that was one of her first. So I'm hoping that this book stands true to me liking the author's work. I've heard a lot of positive things about this book. I think a lot of people, honestly, even a few girls at work who read, have said that this is like one of their lifetime, like all-time favorite books. So I have really high expectations, which sometimes can fail me. So hopefully it's good. Perfect example is I just finished Project Hail Mary. Guys, I really, really liked that book. Okay, so what I'm about to say is don't take it as like I didn't like the book. I ended up giving Project Hail Mary a 4 out of 5, and I think it's because I had hyped that book up in my head so highly based off all the reviews I watched and I read. People were talking about like how it just like absolutely made them sob, and I didn't even have a tear well up. Were there like more emotional aspects to the book? Sure. But I wasn't like so gutted and torn apart that like I was crying. So I think I just had this really high expectation for what was going to be in that book. And unfortunately, it just didn't really play out the way I think it was going or thought it was going to emotionally. And I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. So perfect example of you got to be very careful with hyping books up, but that's okay. So let's go ahead, lock in to Atmosphere, see how much we can read, and let's get to sorting. officially have snow. This is the start of what they're saying is going to be like a snowpocalypse. Okay, it's 5:30 Saturday, so we will track how much snow accumulates this weekend, but this is the start of it. This is the current state of all of the snow. Don't mind all the construction. We have like this whole construction situation going on behind our house, so just ignore that. But yeah, we have a lot of snow. It's pretty deep, and those paths are from our dogs just trying to go potty. So yeah, it's continuing to come down. You can't really tell. But we'll see how much we end up getting. I'm interested because I feel like we haven't had this much snow in quite some time. So this is the status of our snow. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I wanted to give a quick reading update, but first I wanted to talk a little bit about how the weather is treating us. So we are in the middle of what a lot of people have dubbed the snowpocalypse, and I think it's holding true. So the snow lightly started around 5 p.m. yesterday, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon Sunday, so not quite 24 hours, and we're up to about 1.5 feet of snow, and it's still going. You really can't tell, but it's still going. So we'll see how much we end up with, but a lot of the schools in our area have already canceled school, which is not normal. They usually wait until the morning to officially cancel, but I guess they're just assuming it's not going to get better. So we'll see how that plays out. We might be snowed in our house for quite some time. I mean, luckily both me and my husband have like big vehicles that we can drive. But I mean, the roads in front of our house are not plowed at all. So that's unfortunate. So we'll see how much snow we end up with. Because like I said, it's still going. It's supposed to heavy snow still for about, I think, another like 2 to 3 hours, and then light snow all the way through the night. So it'll be interesting to see what the final numbers are. So you're just gonna have to excuse my appearance this whole video. This whole like snowed in is giving early 2000s snow day vibes, which means we're not doing our makeup. We're staying in our comfy clothes all day. So here we are, no makeup, but we're living our best life. So let's do an update on atmosphere. So I don't think I ever really discussed what this book was about. So this is about our main female character, Joan. She is someone who growing up has always been obsessed with space, obsessed with stars, has always dreamed of being an astronaut, but she is a professor, I think, of physics. She's happy doing that. It's a very fulfilling career for her. But then she comes across an ad for the chance to become an astronaut. So she applies, she gets the position, and you see how her training and her process of becoming an astronaut plays out in this book. You also see a lot of how Joan and our other female characters are having to navigate a very male-dominated industry. So this book takes place in the early 1980s. And I don't really know, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't really know much about NASA now, but from what I'm reading in this, it seems like the women that are there are definitely in the minority. It's a very male-dominated career. So you see how she is having to really fight her way tooth and nail every step of the way to become successful and get this position that she wants so badly. And then of course there is the love story. I won't say who she's in love with, but she does fall in love with one of the other astronauts. And I guess that like astronauts, especially on the same mission, that's a very taboo thing to like fall in love with a fellow astronaut. Like that's a very like no thing to do. So you see these two characters having to have a very private relationship that they only really act on in private or when they're in a totally different city where no one really knows who they are. And then when they're at work, they try to act as normal as possible, like somewhat keeping their distance from each other, always having a person in between them so no one really catches on that they are in a relationship. I think a lot of people are kind of catching on. I think a lot of people are catching on, but it's like no one has really said anything about it. And our two characters obviously are not saying anything about it. They're keeping it very private at this point. And that's a very interesting dynamic to read about. Also, I'm winded because I'm 32 weeks pregnant and I can barely breathe. So sorry for the heavy breathing all the time. Also, I know I mentioned yesterday that this is my second Taylor Jenkins Reid book. The first one also had this dynamic that I'm going to be talking about, but I really think Taylor Jenkins Reid writes the sister dynamic flawlessly. These two sisters in this book are extremely different people. Their lives have taken very different courses, and although they love each other and seem to always be there for each other, there also does seem to be quite a bit of tension between the two of them. And I just think the way Taylor Jenkins Reid writes about that dynamic is so interesting. I just think the way in general that she is able to describe people's relationships, you can really understand and get in these people's heads and truly understand where they're coming from. And I really like to watch that play out in the sister characters. My sister is one of my best friends, and I can't imagine being in constant, all of these two sisters, like I said, are close. You can tell that there's a lot of tension between the two of them. And I just can't imagine having that relationship with my sister. So it's a very interesting storyline to read about in this book. And Joan's sister, Barbara, has a young daughter, and Joan is extremely close with her niece. The niece's name is Frances. And that's a huge part of this book, is how close Joan is with her niece. So I really like to read that story as well. I think it's just really touching, and I really am enjoying it. I am on page, let's look and see here. I'm on page 213, and there is a little over 330 pages. So I really think I can knock the rest of this book out today. I've been doing a lot of reading on my audiobook and being able to mix in some physical reading. However, today I've been doing mostly audiobook because I've been trying to do a lot of stuff around the house, like dishes, laundry, the normal like Sunday tasks, but also my child has a fever and my husband is also not feeling well. So we just have a lot of things going on. And this is why I am so pro audiobook, because I'm able to enjoy this story, but not have to sit down and ignore all of my other responsibilities to do it. So I will say audiobook is great. I'm loving the narrator. And yeah, let's go ahead. Like I said, I really wanted to finish this book. This will be my 5th book I have finished for the year. So I'm hoping I can finish it today. That's my goal. So let's knock it out. I also really quickly wanted to show you one of the cutest Christmas gifts I got from my husband this year. So he got me this little sign. It's a book tracker, and it says Kayla's Library, and you can like track how many books you read in the year. And it comes with these like little numbers that you remove, and then as you read a book, you change the number. So yeah, super cute. I keep it on my bookshelf. I have completed 4 books thus far. So let's finish the 5th book today. Alright guys, happy Monday. So I just wanted to give a final reading update on Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did finish this book this morning, and guys, 10 out of 10, 100%, you have to read this book. So good. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of unsure, because you talk to so many people about this book and they're like, oh my gosh, this book was life-changing. This book like altered the course of like my brain and like the kind of books I like to read. And to be quite honest, through most of the book, although great, I was like, how is this the book that so many people are like kind of going on and on and on about? And then the last 2 hours of the audiobook totally changed the course of this read. This was a 5 out of 5 star read for me. 100% recommend you have to read this book. I think almost anyone could like something about this book. I think there's a little bit something for everyone. There's the women in STEM. There's family dynamics. There's the love story, obviously. I still won't say who the love story is with because it's definitely a spoiler. But this book had me on the edge of my seat, like literally until the last sentence. Like you think it's going to end one way, and then the last like 2 sentences, it ends a totally different way. And it's crazy, and it's a must read. I will say, I think my favorite storyline in this book was the story of Joan and her niece Frances. Probably one of the most touching stories I've ever read in my entire life. I just can't fathom the way that Barbara, who's Frances's mom and Joan's sister, I can't fathom the way that Barbara ends up treating her daughter long term throughout this story. I think Barbara, without spoiling what is happening, I think Barbara blames Frances for like ruining her life because she did get pregnant with her very early on, and she had to obviously change the route her life took, and I think she held on to a lot of resentment. I think you can see a lot of that play out in this book, and it just was absolutely like gut-wrenching to see that play out. And that's really all I can say, but I was just in awe of how a mom could treat their child. And thankfully that's not ever something I've experienced, and obviously something I hope that my children never experience. I can't even fathom it. Guys, you have to read this book. So good on so many levels. All right, we're gonna end this video kind of like a little vlog style. I'm going to hold the camera. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me these last couple of days. I've had a lot of fun. Definitely a 5 out of 5 star read. My first 5-star read of the year, which is really exciting, and my 5th book of the year. So I'm having a great reading year so far, and that makes me really excited for the future of the next 60 plus books I am planning to read this year. But if you guys could, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to my channel, hang out with me a little bit more and see what else we can get up to. I have so many more fun reading vlogs planned, and yeah, hope you guys are all staying safe and warm. We got like almost 2 feet of snow here in the Midwest, and it looks like it's going to be starting up again tomorrow, which is crazy. So we might be snowed in a lot longer than originally planned, but that means more reading. So anyways, like I was saying, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you when I see you, and yeah, chat later. Bye.